Welcome to Model with Mel Love Island edition. I am an avid Love Island watcher. I have watched all of the UK seasons. I've watched the Australia seasons. And honestly, I didn't really start watching the USA ones until last year. But I had the great idea of taking Model with Mel and mixing that with my love for Love Island. And we're going to model a villa inspired by the Love Island villa in Revit together on my Model with Mel live stream over the course of the next few weeks. So it's Tuesday. I'm going to be doing weekly live streams at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Instagram, and they will be live streamed, a screen recording of everything I'm doing on Revit. The replay will be available all on YouTube. So this is where I'm going to be yapping about what I'm doing, talking about juicy things that are going on in the current episodes and the current season. Right now, I'm really into USA, but it is going to be over soon, and then I'm going to switch gears, and I'm going to go and fully immerse myself into the UK Love Island season. And so if you are a Love Island lover, this is for you. If you're a Revit lover and someone who wants to learn how to use Revit and watch me design something fun and creative, this is for you. We're going to be designing a villa inspired by the Love Island ones that we see on TV, and we're going to be modeling it and bringing it together live every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Revit with me. So this is Model with Mel, Love Island version, and I'm so excited to get started. Again, I'm yapping over here on Instagram, but we are live streaming everything I'm doing on Revit, step by step. You could literally follow along on YouTube. And the replay will be there and available for you as well on YouTube to watch. So if you want really good views of what I'm doing, pop over to the YouTube. And I would recommend even just like following along if you want like a practice exercise. This is a really good one. So I am going to jump in. Again, I wish I could have like a little bubble here that's like pop over to the YouTube for the live stream of Revit. But I really want to show you guys the pictures I found online of the Love Island villa and what I'm going to be going off of as we design this together in our Model with Mel. So these are just pictures I found off the internet of what the villa in the USA looks like, USA season is using. And these are just a few pictures. So this is a really good picture I found of like the overall outside area. There's so many like arches and custom things that is really going on here. Some curved swimming pool, curved bar. I'm so excited to show you how to model all of these elements because they're not your standard typical walls that you see. And depending on how, far we go, I might even model like these chairs over here. Like we might go crazy because I really want to show people what's possible and yap about Love Island and have fun modeling in Revit. So these are some pictures. This is like a really grainy picture, but it's showing like a staircase over here. And then there is the bar, another good picture of the curve here. These are some pictures of the interior, which I thought were interesting, and I thought it could be fun to do this modeled in Revit. This wall here, well, basically this whole room, I think could be cool to model in Revit. And then this is like a more of an aerial view showing like the turf and the grass. And this is like somebody actually diagramming out like all the different areas that we know from the show. So like the dock, soul ties, the bathroom and the makeup area, and just like an overall overview. This is taken from like the ping pong area, but again, like we're going to be going over like how to model this curve and all of these things. And if you're showing up on Instagram, hello, we are live streaming to YouTube, Model with Mel X Love Island Villa. So we're live modeling a villa together, and I'm live streaming my Revit screen over on YouTube. So come say hi over there. And if you're not live and you're watching the replay, drop a comment below and I would love to hear from you. So these are all the ideas that I have and all the images I've been able to find online of the villa. So I'm going to pull it over here. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to get started with our villa by just mapping out a floor plan. So what I want to do, okay. So I started like planning out a little bit of what we're going to do for the villa in Revit. Hello to everyone joining on Instagram. We're live streaming our screen of Revit modeling a villa over on YouTube. You can join us over there and watch the replay. But we are step by step going through and learning how I'm going to go through this process, and we're going to design and have fun and yap about Love Island. So I started like mapping out already the schematic design of what I wanted the villa to look like so that I could do it faster here on Huddle with Mel. But let's just start with a really basic floor plan. So I'm going to grab my walls, and I would love to know who's watching Love Island this season. Are you watching Love Island USA? Are you watching Love Island UK? I'm watching both, but I'm only watching USA live. So I'm behind right now on the UK version. Typically we're behind anyways if we're in the US because Hulu releases all the episodes late. I believe it's like a week late. So we're technically always off when we're watching the UK version. But I'm not up to date on all the episodes that are available to us in Hulu right now. I am up to date on the Love Island USA, which is what I'm going to be mainly talking about today because the season is approaching an end. And then once the Love Island USA season ends, I'm probably just going to dive really deep into the UK season, and that'll go on for twice as long as the USA season. Honestly, I have always preferred the the UK version better because it's longer. And I feel like they really are able to develop amazing connections with one another over the course of time that they're together in the UK. It's like literally double the time. There's like 60 episodes of the UK and there's like 35 of the USA one. And for the longest time, I didn't even bother watching the USA one until last season when it popped off for everybody and everybody found out about it and was obsessed with it, which is great. So we have this first floor here, and what I'm going to do is let's take a look at this in elevation. This is like my template file, so there's always like notes and all these things. My laptop gets burning hot when it's plugged in and doing all this stuff. Like scary hot. It's probably a problem. Ugh, okay, but I'm deleting all this stuff that's in my template folder right now. The template file. Oops, I deleted my wall. I really hate that noise that Revit makes when it's basically having an error or telling you something's wrong. Power. Really hope that the thunder is not too aggressive in the background. But yeah. This season of Love Island USA is honestly probably the worst season I've ever seen in my lifetime. Like, I've seen all of them. Australia, UK, saw a few of the USA seasons because they're historically not that good. Last year, season 6 popped off and it was really good, yes, but it really failed expectations this year. So it's so hard because I want to talk about Love Island, but I also want to talk about what I'm doing in Revit at the same time. So I'm like trying to switch between explaining what I'm doing in Revit and then also yapping about Love Island. So I'm going to take these walls and I'm just going to extend them to the top constraint to be the top plate, which is the top of the thing. I don't know why. Oh, it's really small. Probably because I'm streaming. It made that little box over there so tiny. But now I have all the walls going to the second floor. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start off with the decks that you see in the second floor of the picture that we were looking at. So the Love Island villa has these beautiful, like, greenery roof decks that are all outside, and these spaces are just extraordinary, and I want to model them first. So we're gonna start with our second floor and the deck, so we can really work on those exterior arches that I was showing you in the beginning, because those are a little bit complicated to make. Not super complicated, but definitely a little, you got to go a little outside the box for them, and I want to get to those sooner rather than later. I love working on the exterior of a building, and that's usually when I'm just like modeling for fun how I will start. So if you're new here, that's just typical for me if I'm just modeling for fun. If I'm modeling, doing something for work that's very regimented, that's very, very rigid and structured, I do, obviously, I follow my 5-step framework that I teach. But if I'm just like relaxing and modeling for fun, I'm always usually starting with the exterior because it's my favorite part. All right, so let's do the floor. Let's do a wood finish just so we can see it. And let's sort of map out what we're looking at here. So let me get the picture back. All right, so see how there's all these decks and then there's kind of like these roofs that are above it. So this is what I'm going to be creating right now, is this whole deck area, and then we'll define like what's grass and what's not grass later. We'll sort of like carve that out, but this is what I'm modeling right now, this open floor. And I'm just gonna draw some shapes of what I want it to look like. And then I'm going to fix it after and make it clean and on whole numbers and just nice. So this Love Island season, USA, has been one of the worst seasons I've ever seen. It really like had a high last year and it crashed and burned this year. And I really think a lot of people online have been talking about this, that they just picked influencers, people who were already had a following, who are media trained, who know what to say in front of the cameras, who know so much about Love Island. Like, everyone feels so strategic. Cast is already over. We had no strong couples going in Casa. The biggest thing that we had going for us was Nicolandria, and if you didn't believe in Nicolandria and you weren't on the Nicolandria train, I'm not sure that we can be friends, because I am obsessed with Nick and Alandria together, and I watch all the fan edits, and I am so living in the Delulu land with everyone else on TikTok about these two, because it's just something special, something spicy, and you really can't tell me that you've watched the entire season and you've paid attention to all the little snippets and all the little confessionals they give and all the little things that they sneak in their production, and tell me that you don't think Nick and Alandria like each other. Okay, so let me rephrase that. I definitely think Nick's in love with her. Do I think Alandria likes him back? No, she's very fixated on finding her cowboy, rightfully so. I get it. She's on a mission. But sometimes that mission is not where we're meant to be. So, I wish she would reroute herself a little bit here, but it is what it is, right? Like, we can only do so much as viewers to try and get them together, and the breadcrumbs they gave us were iconic. In that one episode where they like dump Alandria and Nick from the villa, and then they bring them on this like little private date, and Nick's like, yes, oh my god, I get to explore, and Alandria's like, oh my god, ha ha ha, are we friends? Are we not friends? yeah, I don't know. I think she's just very stuck on, like, she wants to find her cowboy. She really invested a lot of time in Taylor. Taylor doesn't like her. I literally hate Taylor. He is something else. He's just been using her to stay on the show, and it's really annoying. Because our girl, she deserves way more than that. Okay? She deserves way more than that. So it's pretty disappointing that Taylor, has really been able to stay on the show this long. Okay, so I'm mapping out our decks right now, all of our sunroom decks, and just making sure. I always design on whole numbers. I hate seeing fractions. I hate all those like fractional things here. So let's just make it wood so we can really see. That's our deck. That was a really big crack of thunder. So if you're hearing like banging in the background, it's because it's thundering out. The world was so excited that I was finally going live for Love Island that it was like, we're gonna throw a party. Alright, let's throw some railings on here. Horizontal railings. Let's put some railings here. Boop-a-doop. And like I said, I already started sort of like mapping out the villa, what I wanted it to look like. I really studied the pictures that I showed you guys at the beginning. So I am following along like a little bit of my schematic sketch I did. And I am going off of that. It took me some time to like really study the images and like lay out where I want everything to sort of go by following this. We don't have any interior floor plans, so we're literally just going off the exterior to start with, and then once we're done, we'll go in and we'll design the interior with some of these like cool little moments they have here of these rooms. Like, all this is doable in Revit, and I want to show you guys how to do it because I feel like a lot of people don't know that Revit can be actually really good for interior work. But I've actually had a lot of people who are interior designers take my Revit course and want to learn Revit and use Revit, and it really changes their entire workflow, their productivity for the better. It helps their client relationships because they're able to show them images and elevations in 3D. It's for everyone who's a designer. Like, really, it is. So it'll be fun to do the exterior and then do some of the interior stuff at the end. But like I said, I love... That was crazy. It's so distracting. It never thunders and lightnings, and it's so distracting. Like, everything just lit up, and it was like this big crack, and it's like, I'm already distracted because I'm talking about Love Island. I'm trying to talk about what I'm doing over here modeling. I love all these things that are happening, and then the thunder and lightning, I'm like, oh my god, I kind of want to go inside and watch the thunder and lightning, and it's also so distracting because it's so loud. Okay, focus, Melissa, focus. So, let's see. I don't even really remember what I was saying. I also got an email notification and started reading that too, so my brain is just all over the place right now. So let's go back to this picture. This is a wall here, and then it looks like it opens up, and then I don't really know how it's connected over here. Like, the stairs are off to the side. The stairs are off to the side over here, and then we have this wall. It is like solid and then opens up, I think. So again, we're just gonna go like suggestion, not an exact match. We're really using this as inspiration here. So this whole side is open. Beautiful. This is almost not all the way open. So yeah, there's like these lounge chairs up here. You come up here, lounge chairs, this wall here, that's definitely like some material so you don't fall, but it looks like it's see-through almost. And then we have this wall that starts up. So I'm gonna extend this wall about here. I would say it's a little bit more than halfway. Well, ours will be a little bit more than halfway at least, and then we'll do like a little cutout here. But I do want to start making some of these arches. So let's start over here with this corner. We're going to create this arch, and we're going to create this one that kind of dies into each other here. It's pretty complex situation that's happening here, especially structurally. It's really interesting to see. There's no like corner post here. That's in the background. All right. So I'm just going to use a basic 12-inch wall. I want it to be really thick because I want to get the depth of these arches that we're looking at to show up with just my wall thickness. So this is going to create the least amount of steps for me in Revit by just creating a wall that's the thickness of that arch. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit the profile of the wall to create this arch type that we're seeing that is the iconic Love Island villa style that you see everywhere, honestly. Like, all right, so I'm going to bring this down here, and then I'm also going to map out where my other one's going to go. So I'm going to bring it this way. There is like this patch of green here. I think I might need to actually make this a little bit bigger. So let's make this 26 and this 20, and then these all 20. Let's move the railing over. We'll move this over. And what I really want is to leave just like a little piece of grass area here. Yeah, so I want to leave this little, like a little area for grass here because this whole system that we're about to model is set back. So let us map this out just a little bit. So it's like this. All right, and it's even a little bit up. It's not exactly at this corner point, so I am going to move it up a little bit. And honestly, maybe it needs to come a little further. But yeah, I'd love to know, like, what couples are you guys liking in USA right now? Who's your showrunner? Please don't say Nick and Sierra. Thanks. I just feel like they're both just in it to win it at this point, you know? Like, they've been together the whole season practically. It's like they gotta just finish strong, you know? But it is a bit disappointing after seeing him with Olandria because there's a clear difference on my TV screen watching these people interact with each other. And so, yeah, it's just a little bit disappointing that there's really feeling like there's no love and sparks in the villa this season. All right. So I have this little elevation tag here that I had in a previous file, but if I wanted to create a new one, I would just go to view and I would create elevation. And then I'm going to just move this back a little bit. Oop. Move this so that I can see what I'm doing here. And what we're going to do is we're going to carve out, draw the profile of these elements. And what that is going to do is it's going to give us an opening here. It's going to give us an opening here. There's going to be no corner point because these two die into each other. All right. And that lands there. And then I'm actually going to make this even smaller. And now this will land just a few feet away from that where that actual corner is. So let's go about carving this out. I create these elevations so that I can go into the direct elevation of this wall and edit what I'm looking at. So this is the wall. I'm going to go into edit profile. And one thing that I need to do when I edit the profile of this is take a look at how everything is connecting. So when I edit this, it's showing like the wall here is half and the wall here is half, and that's just because it's connected to this. So I might have to like finagle it. It's a funny word. I might have to like adjust it as I go, but let's work with this right now and see how it will work if we just offset this 6 inches. And let's just create a little arc here. Let's offset this 2 feet. And then let's create a little corner here. And then let's just mirror the corner on the center point of the line. And then let's trim up. Oh, I hate when my mirror copy isn't checked off. Okay, so let us do that. But yeah, I have been watching Love Island for so long that I was like, I need to model the Love Island inspired villa in Revit. I need to talk about Love Island, and I need to model a villa in Revit. Crazy thunder cracks happening here. All right. So what I'm hoping this does is I'm hoping it is going to be still the full thickness of this wall, so that we really have 1 foot here, 1 foot here, and then 2 feet at the top. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry that sort of arc profile throughout. Their arc does look a little bit rounder than ours. Again, it's not going to be 100% match. We are going to be creating our own. It's inspired, but let's see what this looks like. So making sure this is a closed boundary and saying can't keep elements joined. Okay, this is what I thought it was going to do. Whenever you edit the profile, it's like, oh, I can't keep anything joined. So let us go here and bring this. Can't keep elements joined. It's okay. Let's disallow join so that we just don't join it at all. Disallow join is like a low-key tip. If you don't want things to automatically join to each other, you right click on that and you do disallow join or allow join. And it's also this little toggle here. You can press it, this little T, disallow and allow join. It's really helpful if you're like working in an existing conditions file and you are doing an addition or something where you're adding on and you have to demo things, where you can like split the wall and do disallow join, and then it cleans it up really nice. It's one of the best ways to handle new versus old in the phase settings when you're dealing with walls and cutting them and trying to get them to not automatically join to each other when you're demoing them and adding new things. So alright, so now that we have those walls set up, we can go back. I also want to make these a little bit more round. So like this is a really big radius here, or diameter, I don't really know. But let's make this a foot. For real this time. And then let's go here and just see what we can create by adjusting this radius. So it's definitely bigger. I think I like that proportion. It's a lot bigger. It was like up here before. So let's trim that. And then let's mirror this on the center point. Trim it up here. And this is a radius of 2.6, so that's what I'm going to be using on the other locations. When I do a profile of this wall, I'm going to match that 2.6. I'm going to match all these offsets. So this is our first wall. And this actually doesn't exist on this side. So let me go fix that really quick. We're not mirroring it here. It just comes straight up and across in this location. And then let's take a elevation of this wall. So let me turn on this tag right here. And let's take a look at this wall. All right. It's a bit weird. I feel like it's showing up weird, but it's not. Let's take a look at our 3D really quick. Okay. We have the makings of a villa. We have the makings of something. This all has to go to the second floor. I realize I'm modeling on the first floor level here, and we want to just make all these go to the second floor. So let's just change that really quick before we get too far into our walls and things, because I don't want everything to get messed up later on. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the season of Love Island USA has gotten boring because there's no serious couples. We're almost at the end of the season. We don't even know who to root for anymore. Like, it's not as exciting as I was hoping it was going to be. But I've started the USA, the UK one, and it's not disappointing. It's not disappointing at all. It is very much worth it. So I'm pretty excited about that. Okay, let's go to this elevation. Now let's do the 2-foot offset, the 1-foot offset, and now let's do our 2'6" radius here. So let's do 2'6". Okay, so one thing that can be difficult is trying to get the radius to match, because even though I made it 2'6", it's not exactly in the right spot. So let me go back into the other profile we have, now that I have this one like carved out at least. Okay. So let's go back to this elevation and take a look. I want to actually see if I can copy it, because it is like, oh, I'm just adjusting how I'm sitting. It's like in the perfect spot. I also don't want to miss the episode that comes out at 9 o'clock. So it's like Love Island pre-gaming by designing in Revit the villa that we're designing together. Again, I'm live streaming this to YouTube. The replay will be available so you can follow along. And by the end of our weekly live stream, we will have a completed villa together. So let me copy this to my clipboard. And let me go here. And let me paste. Okay. Great. Let me mirror this. And then let me put it as close to this point as I can. Okay, let's just pick up on the point and align it there. And then pick up on the point and align it here. There are so many couples in the villa right now that it's honestly hard to it's easy to forget who's there because there's so many of them. But there's Iris and TJ, and there's Austin and Jaden, and they're like really background couples. There's Adriana and Brian, background couple. Pepe and Grayson, background couple. But honestly, I feel like Pepe and Hannah could have won the season if they hadn't the other islanders hadn't been so strategic and been like, yeah, we're just going to send all of our competition home, aka Jeremiah, aka Hannah, aka all these people. But yeah, so see how I didn't let these walls join in floor plan, but then when I had them in elevation, after I did this, I used this little join tool here just so that they look seamless. So let me do that again. See how there's like a little line there on the top? You can see it on the side. I mean, it's the corner, so you're going to be able to see it, but on the top you can see it. So all I did to just clean that up is I joined them. And that is loud thunder. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I hate it, actually. But yeah, I was able to just join it so that at least from the top, like, you don't see it. You wouldn't have seen it anyways. But this one specifically, I don't want to see that front profile. So when I do that little join trick with this tool after, it's going to clean up that geometry so that we don't see like this face of the wall here. So we have our first little corner. So exciting. Now let us go to this elevation. Let me take a different elevation. So view, elevation. My elevations are off in this view for some reason. Alright. Let's go into editing this wall. So again, I don't want this to join because it's giving me that weird half profile when I go to cut it. I just want it to be like that. Alright, so let's offset. We have our 1 foot sides, our 2 foot top, and let's copy in that arch. So again, I just had that copied to my clipboard and I just copied and pasted it so that they're all consistent. I'm going to move it over from that endpoint and then move it over from this endpoint, and then I'm just going to trim it up. And then I'm just going to mirror it, make sure my copy is checked off, do that on the center. That was crooked. And honestly, after this, I think we're going to be like checking off for the night because I want to go prepare to watch the new episode, and then tomorrow there's no new episode, so that's a little sad, but it's alright. Okay, so yeah, the thing about that, right, is that it's technically, they're in front of each other, but it'll be a little bit thicker in this corner. So if I join it with the join tool here, that's what it looks like. And then when I go back to floor plan, these are still not joined. All right, we just like joined it in the 3D view, but not joined the walls. Like we didn't allow the walls to continue to join in floor plan. See how this is still toggled? It says allow join. I don't want to allow it to join. I want it to stay how it is. But in 3D, I just joined it up the geometry and it got rid of that line profile that we were seeing. So all right. This corner is a little weird because we have this happening. This is a little bit like thicker, so I'm going to actually overlap it, and then I'm going to see how this looks. All right. So it looks like it did interfere with this profile. So let's just go back to it really quick and see if we can fix it. All right. Because I want this corner to share that 1 foot, like, profile, right? That 1 foot there and the 1 foot from the side here. So I was able to do that. I just had to do a little bit of adjusting. I do just want to go back in and double check my profile that I just got, because it does look a little bit different. I think I manipulated it the wrong way, and so I am just a perfectionist, and I like to make sure that things are done correctly, even if that means sometimes doing it really quickly to just check myself. So that's what I did there. I'm just gonna check here. Yep, 2626. We're good all around, and we're good there as well. So now to get this to stop looking, we're gonna again do that join tool. Oh, it's not working this time. It's like, no girl, you are not allowed to join them like that anymore. You're really just overlapping them. But you know what I can do? Because I do want my walls to look like this. I can use this little tool called the Lineworks tool, and I can go to the invisible line, and I can just select this, and I can select this, and now in 3D you can't even tell. And that is one of my favorite workarounds. If you're ever struggling to get something to like look good or join good, the geometry, you can, if they don't join for some reason, you can go to the Lineworks and just turn on the invisible lines for those things that you don't want to see. So yeah, that's looking really good. Let's take a look at this picture. All right, so it looks like we have some roof here, and then it's all open. So let's just go ahead and copy this up to our top plate, which is really like the roof here, and we'll just offset it by 1 foot above. And then all this is open, so let's carve this out. And then after that, it's 8:52, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when we're clocking in to watch our show. All right, so we're bringing this back, carving this out, covering this walkway here, and it's kind of just going straight across, and this whole front area of the deck is just open. All right. And it's flush with the top of this here, so and then I just want to make this white. All right, let us do ceramic tile, let us do 12-inch carpet. It doesn't matter, we're gonna actually just make it white so that we can start seeing like what's what in our model here, and we can have a good little end stage picture. So I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna make all these just white because I want it to just show up on the side profile as white, as a top white, everything I want to look white right now. All right. So that's what we have. So we're working with. I'm also just going to do like a generic floor here. So let's copy this and put it to the first floor. And then we'll eventually start carving out like what's the pool and what's the deck and what is sort of going on. But for now, we're just going to do like a basic deck, and then eventually we'll go through and we'll be like, this is the pool, this is deck, this is grass, and so on and so forth. So for now, just so we don't have a floating building, we're going to just have general deck. And we'll go back and we will develop that later. It's actually more accurate like that, hanging off the deck a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I do want to adjust my railings because they're just like looking a little bit too close to the edge, like they're about to jump off the edge, and we don't like that. Yeah, I feel like tonight's episode though is going to be a little bit boring just because, again, we're not invested in any of these couples. None of these couples are invested in each other. And they're doing a lot of these like new things. Like, what is this letterbox challenge? I don't care about the letters. Bring me the tweets. Bring me movie night. Bring me something good. Bring me something good. That's all I'm saying. All right, yeah, so we have the roof following here, the roof following here, and then the roof comes across straight and gives us that. And this is just like an open sun deck. And this is like an archway, but it is pushed back. And then we have a corner, and then it turns the corner with another archway. Similar to how this archway is, only it actually doesn't like have a floating corner. It looks like it meets in the corner. And then it would actually be fun to do like XOXO, like a little green wall. I just want to do a lot of like the little details of it to really bring it to life. And I get so excited. I want to work on this area, I want to work on this area, but I got to stay focused. I want to get all of the like big exterior archways done and laid out, and like all the roofs and stuff, you know, done and laid out. But yeah, basically these walls where the arches are is where we're going to be following along and doing our arches. And then once those walls are done, we'll probably start getting into the pool and the grass and how to start carving out some of these spaces in Revit and defining them in the software itself. And then we'll probably bop into some of these smaller areas, how to create that, how to create the bar that's curved, how to create some of these like cool features in Revit, like all these like different colors, patterns, different ways to load things in to create that. But yeah, that's going to be my process moving forward, is we're going to put in the rest of these big arch walls so that all of those are mapped out. And then we're going to start going into the ground and our hardscaping and defining what that is. And then we're going to go into some of these smaller details on the exterior. And then we're eventually going to move into the interior. But this is our first episode of A Model with Mel, the Villa Edition. And I'm so excited that you're here. I'm going to adjust this really quick, this railing, because I just realized in that picture that it doesn't come all the way. It actually stops here, and then it comes up, and it goes a little bit around. And this is all like green grass roof deck area. So yeah, it looks like there's a railing, and then it comes this way, and all this is just grass, which is interesting. And even when we get further into the details of the villa, we're probably going to make our area carved out of grass here as well, and start distinguishing and pulling out and changing out the materials for things, and really defining what those areas are. All right, then we have a railing here, all the way around here. All right. But yeah, this is where the railing gets a little bit different, where it starts coming over and then up. And then can't really tell too much of what's going on over here. But for the sake of this, I'm just going to run the railing to this point, and I'm going to run it straight over to then where the stairs will start in our villa. So I'll just run it straight like that. All right, and this is what we have started. So exciting. And I'm not even going to join the roof and the walls here. I want to see that lip, because look, that lip actually exists in real life. That's like the roof edge line here. Oh, yep, in this one, you can see how the railing does come straight over, like I guessed it did. And that whole area right there will be just grass in ours. Again, I'm just eyeballing everything. This is open for interpretation. We are not drawing this accurately to scale off the picture. This is just a fun exercise and rendition of this Love Island inspired project. So I'm so excited. I love the way this is going to come out. It already looks so cool. And we're just going to really work on bringing it to life more and more over the course of the next upcoming weeks. I always say, oh, one more thing, and then I'm going to go. One more thing, and then I'm going to go. Because I just notice, oh, I could just do this little thing and it'll look a little bit better. Okay. Now we're ready to sign off. All right. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to continue this. Love Island is one of my all-time favorite things. Revit's one of my all-time favorite things. Design is one of my all-time favorite things. So combining all of these passions into this fun little project, modeling live here with you all on Model with Mel, is such a pleasure, such a treat. And I will see you guys next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're going to continue our villa project.